about time, right?
Yeah.
And we talked about how there's two different clocks, right? But what do we use a clock for? Parker, what do I use a clock for?
To know what time it is.
Yeah. Do you remember when I said if you go to the doctor's office and you want to find out how tall you are,
Yeah.
you use like a ruler or a yardstick to measure you? Well, or a scale to figure out how much you weigh. Right, those are all types of measurement. Well, a clock measures the time. And this one is telling us exactly what time it is right now in our classroom. And you can see that the minute hand just moved. Did you guys notice that? This one that's going very quickly, that's super skinny, is the seconds, okay? And if you remember, there are two types of clocks. There's this kind that just has the numbers, and then there's this kind that has the arms. Does anyone remember what the kind with just the numbers on it is? Parker?
A digital clock?
A digital clock. Everybody say digital clock.
Digital clock.
Yeah, and you just read the numbers, or the digits, okay? This kind of clock with the hands, Josie, do you remember what it's called? Oh, close. It's an analog clock. Is that what you're going to say, buddy? Yes, an analog clock, okay? And an analog clock has arms. Everybody show me your arms, okay? So, it has two different types of arms. Okay, it has a short arm. This one you can hardly see because it's tiny. And then it has a long arm. And some of them have this little skinny one, which is the second arm. So the short arm is the hours, and the long arm is the minutes.
Oh, it just moved.
Yeah, it did just move. So, do you guys remember how a clock moves?
Yeah.
Well, I showed you something on the back. Remember what that was? It moves the,
Oh, spin it.
yeah,
Gears.
gears, exactly. And so there's 3 gears. When it has 3 arms, there's 3 gears, and they all work together, okay? And they're constantly moving.
I liked watching this.
So, here's a question for you that we haven't really thought about. Who do you think made time?
Jesus.
Okay? Or maybe God. How do you think God made time? Let's think way back. Remember our Bible timeline? What happened in the very beginning?
He made the Garden of Eden.
He made the Garden of Eden, but before the Garden of Eden, what came?
The clock.
Well, not really the clock, but time. Remember he separated light and darkness, and he called one night and one day. And you also remember that he created the whole earth in 7 days. 7 days is the same as what? It's 1 week. And so that's time. So God gave us time. And that's why we learn about time too, because it's an important part. And it also just helps us know where we need to be and what we're doing. All right? So I'm going to switch over here to this interactive clock. Okay, now I can move this around. So what time does this clock say?
6 o'clock.
It says 6 o'clock, that's right. And I can read the digital one, what's real easy, right? But I can also tell because I have the minute hand going to the 12, and the hour hand is going to the 6. So remember, whenever the minute hand is straight up, pointing to the 12, that means o'clock, right? When the minute hand is straight down, pointing to the 6, what's it mean? 30, yeah, it means 30 minutes after, okay? So I write o'clock like this, 0, 0, just like this, and I write 30 like that, okay? Now,
36.
let's practice here, okay? So let's say it's time for us to go home. What time do we go home? Does anybody know?
6:30.
No, we don't go home at 6:30. What time do we go home?
10:30.
In the afternoon, at the very end of the day.
10:50. Afternoon.
Yeah, in the afternoon. So we go home around this time. What time is it? 3 o'clock. My hour hand is at the 3. My minute hand is at the 12. So that means 3 o'clock. Okay? The short arm is the hour. The long arm is the minutes. Okay? All right. So I would like you all to go back to your seats. And we're going to practice our little song.
O'clock. Nope, not my seat.
Okay.
Now, there you go.
All right.
time is 8 o'clock.
Okay, so 8 o'clock. Hip hop. It's 8 o'clock.
Hip
Hop. Around the clock. Hip hop. Around the clock.
Now the time is 5 o'clock.
It's 5 o'clock.
Hip hop around the clock. Hip hop around the clock. Now the time is 2 o'clock.
Good. Where's 2? Right about there. It's 2 o'clock.
Hip hop around the clock. Hip hop around the clock. Now the time is 11 o'clock.
Oh. It's 11 o'clock.
Hip hop around the clock. Hip hop around the clock. Now the time is 7 o'clock.
Oh, find 7. It's 7 o'clock.
Hip hop around the clock. Hip hop around the clock. Now the time is 4 o'clock.
Okay, find the 4. It's 4 o'clock.
Hip hop around the clock. Hip hop around the clock. Hip hop
Around the clock. Good job, guys. All right.
Be friends.
Have a seat for me. Okay. So, everyone have a seat. In just a minute, we're going to split up like we normally do, okay? So, let me show you what you're going to be doing. And here, we're going to practice with our clock manipulatives, okay? So, you're going to practice both time to the half hour and time to the hour. If it's o'clock, where does the minute hand go? 12. If it's 30 minutes after, where does it point to? 6. Okay, that's the one thing you have to remember. The short hand is your hour. The big hand is your minutes. Okay? So look at this for a minute, and I'll give you an example of what you're doing in the hallway. Okay? Okay, so you're going to get an answer sheet that looks like this. You see all these times you have to find in the hallway? There are 20 different clocks. They look like this. Okay, Callie, do you see this? Colt, do you see this?
Yes.
All right. You're looking for the clock. So this is number 1. I'm going to do number 1 with you. Okay. First of all, I'm going to look for the hour. It's the shorthand. And mine are kind of faded, but most of mine have kind of this blue. So what is the hour? 1. Okay. And where's the minute hand? 1:30. You guys got it. Because there's the hour, and then the minutes point to 6. It's 1:30. So what you'll do is you'll find all the clocks until you get to number 20. Okay? If you get all the clocks done, which you may, then you're going to practice on the back just drawing the arms on these clocks. Now, all of these clocks say o'clock. Can you see the 00 on all of them?
No.
It's hard to see up on the board, but most of them have. But what do you notice about the minute hand? Where's it pointed to? 12. So do I have to do the minute hand? No. I just have to do the hour hand. So Zara, this one says 6 o'clock. Where should my hour hand go? So I would just have to make an arrow, a shorter arrow that goes right down to 6. If you cannot make an arrow, that's fine. Just make a line. Okay? So that's what you're going to be doing.